What's up guys, Bricktonian here! So, after starting Season 2 of The Mandalorian, I finally got the LEGO Razor Crest, and it's dope. So yeah, here's my review of the LEGO Razor Crest from the Mandalorian TV show that cost $160 Canadian or $130 US on lego.com. Whoa, hold up. I just wanted to say this video turned out way longer than expected. So I'm going to be putting timestamps below so you guys can just check out the parts you want to see. For those that don't care about how long the video is, I suggest you grab some food, sit back, and relax. Okay, back to the video. First things first, let's look at the packaging. It came in this really large box with a Razor Crest in front. As always, the product information is on the left here. Set 75292, the Razor Crest obviously, 1023 pieces. On the bottom right, you can see the Minifigs with the Mandalorian, the Child, Greef Karga, IG-11, and the Scout Trooper. And the top right is the Mandalorian, to symbolize that this is a Mandalorian set. On the back, it shows the Razor Crest opened up, so you can see the inside, as well as a bit of action that they have. On the bottom, you got the pictures displaying 3 of the features of this set. There's nothing too interesting on the sides, so now let's check out the build. Alright, here it is. As you can see, it's pretty large. The amount of detail on it is amazing, except for just a few areas which I'll touch upon later in the review. The entire ship is actually super sturdy, which you really wouldn't expect from a build this size, but they've got an integrated Technic skeleton that holds this entire thing together, and that's what makes it extremely sturdy and swooshable. So, on the top here is the cockpit, which this window piece is actually printed on and not a sticker, which is really nice because thank God I would have messed that up. You can pull off this window using this lever right here. You just pull and then it pops right off, which reveals the seating space. I wish they could have figured out a way to put more seats because as you can see here, it really only just fits the 2. And I would have preferred it if they could fit actually 2, like an extra seat in the back like it is in the show, where there's 1 seat here and 1 seat here, rather than just have the 1 seat directly behind the pilot seat. Zooming in, you really only get 1 printed piece for the entire console, which is kind of disappointing. From there, you can flip the back part of the cockpit to have more space to hold weapons. As you can see, the Mandalorian's disintegrator gun is right here. Honestly, I feel like they could have done something here to maximize this entire cockpit space. Like add the ladder down to the main storage area in the show. You can see that the hole here leads all the way down to the storage area anyway, so I think it would have been nice to have that extra ladder detail showing that it does go all the way through. So, moving further across over here, with this bit of detail, this is actually really cool because it's an escape pod. I actually think this is a really nice touch, and I appreciate the thought of this. It's like a secondary mini build. So, you can actually just take it off by putting your finger in the hole here, and just kind of take it out. So this is the cool little escape pod. Let me just focus the camera. There you go. Yeah, it's a really nice little escape pod build. So this escape pod can fit 1 minifigure in there, and all you have to do to open the hatch is put your finger through the little hole, pop the lid right off, and yeah, you can fit a nice little minifigure snug right into that little hole. So for example, you can just take the Mandalorian, plug him in right there, and then pop the lid back on. And voila, he fits pretty snug in there. You can also see there's actually some thruster details on the sides here, which is pretty cool. It shows that this little escape pod can actually maneuver. Just a tiny bit of movement though. They kind of just move up and down like so. Not too much movement, but hey, you can at least kind of pose it how you want it to. So, without the escape pod, this is what that area looks like. Putting back the escape pod, the final feature that's on the top here are actually the spring-loaded shooters. Can you guys see them? They're really tiny, and there's one here and one on the opposite side here that you can barely see. And honestly, they've hidden them extremely well, and I really like that. So the actuators are actually this vent here and this like vent grill piece here. All you have to do is push it. Oh, let's not cover the camera. Push it here, it just shoots out. Same thing over here, you just push it, shoots right out. In order to fix the bent part, all you have to do is take the spring-loaded shooter, push it back in. Let me just align it correctly, and then push it back. There you go, and then it comes back up. Interestingly enough, the back thrusters actually use these wooden tub like barrel pieces in order to emulate the flaps of the thrusters. And it's creative, but personally, I'm not a fan of this design. Moving on towards the sides, you can actually open up all these panels in order to give you better access all across the ship. In the front here, it's really just storage for the extra spring-loaded shooter that you get with this set, and it just clips on here. I would have really preferred if the LEGO designers put a vac tube system in here, just like in the show. Just having a tiny little restroom here with a little bit of detail would have just made this space really cool instead of just, this kind of storage area for an extra spring-loaded shooter. So, towards the middle here, as you can see, there's no ladder detail at all, which honestly would have been so simple to do, either like an actual little brick-built ladder build that just kind of goes up a couple steps here into the cockpit area over there, or just literally use the mini ladder piece that they already have and like a little clip, just clip it on. Would have been really simple to add some cool detail that leads your characters back into the cockpit from here. Now, for the main storage area here, there's not much here, partly due to the fact that the main 4 pillars are basically the backbone structure of this set. You can see in the back there just a tiny bit of detail where the Mando kind of stores like the carbonite pieces, as we see in Season 1. Unfortunately, they couldn't really have the entire carbonite machine that actually turns his captured bounties into carbonite, just due to the space constraints. As you can really see, there's this is already the door part here, as well as back there. So it's really just this small area, and already just having 2 carbonite pieces takes up a lot of room. So there's really no space to have an extra carbonite machine. So I understand that, but it would have been really cool just to see a simple, small little build that signified what it was, that would maybe just stick there and signify that that machine is actually there. And it didn't have to be fully functional, just a small little build that could stick maybe to the right there, and then these 2 could be to the left. That would have been really cool. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that the upper part here with the Technic pieces and the holes are actually completely exposed still, and I really don't like that. Even when you put this up, you can see that it's actually still there, and LEGO doesn't really put any pieces there to cover it up. I just think it would have been nice to maybe just have a couple of bricks or tile pieces just to cover up the areas that they can cover up, instead of kind of just leaving it exposed like this. Here's the back hatch. There's a little bit of detail here, not too much, and you can just kind of slide it down like so, and it gives you an entrance into the storage area of the ship. Now onto the right side of the ship. Here's a look at the carbonite holding area. You can see it's pretty simple, just a few pieces on the bottom here to help hold the carbonite in place with no actual stud connection. So you can actually just kind of slide them out like so. Same on this side, you can just slide out the carbonite like that. You can see in the front here, there's actually a tile that's 1 tile above the bottom ground here, and that is what helps them keep them in place, so then it won't just slide out onto the other side. You can see that the carbonite pieces are actually, these carbonite pieces here, they're actually just basically wedged into place between the top and the bottom, and then once you put some kind of gravity pressure on it, it actually just keeps this in place fairly well, and that's what holds it. And then when you put this up, it actually will stay still in that position fairly well. So finally, back at the front is a really cool bit of detail, and that is the Mando's sleeping quarters. The designers were able to maximize this space really well, and it's on the right side of the ship, just like it is in the show. It looks super cozy, and there's a large enough space to fit the Mando in here with Baby Yoda as well. So you can just kind of take Mandalorian, you can just fit him in right there, and then as well as Baby Yoda, you can just put him in the front bit of space right here, and he fits perfectly fine, pretty snug. So yeah, that goes there, and then you can close the hatch back up, and boom, there you go. Oh, and here's the bottom of the set in case anyone's interested. It's got these 3 ski pieces for the landing gear. In terms of the figures, it actually came with 5, which is really nice. Honestly, I wish that Quill was one of the figures, since he was pretty prevalent in Season 1, as well as the fact that LEGO hasn't really made many Ugnaughts. I think they only show up in the Cloud City set. But it is cool to get Greef Karga and the child. So, first up, you've got the Mandalorian, which is unfortunately not in his Beskar armor. It is the same as the Mando that comes in the AT-ST set. So yeah, let's starting off with the helmet here. It's the same Mandalorian helmet mold that LEGO's been using for years now. Here's the back, same one that Boba Fett has, and the ones that are in the Mandalorian Battle Pack. Still looks sick, and just like it does in the show, except maybe just a little bit less reflective. He's got a really nice torso print, as you can see here. Just wish it was Beskar, but it's still a lot of detail, really nice. He's also got back printing, as you can see. Pretty decent back printing as well. Let me try to focus up on that. And then he's also got the narrow and thin Mandalorian cape. There is no side leg printing, but there's leg printing in the front here, which is also really nice. No feet printing, and again, as I said, no side leg printing, which is a little bit disappointing, but you know, it's all right. Taking off the helmet, it's just a plain black Lego head, no faces whatsoever. I think it would have been nice to see Djarin or Pedro Pascal's face, but in the end, it's all right since he barely takes off his helmet anyway, so not too big of a complaint there. His accessory is his disintegration gun, which as you can see here, it's really just a brick-built gun using a pistol, a brown like wooden shade of the lightsaber hilt, as well as one of the old robot hands. Wish it was its own molded piece. I think that would have been very, very cool, but it's not. It's just a Lego brick-built one, which is alright. Next up, we have Greef Karga. I think the face print is actually done pretty well. He's got actually two faces, with the first being this angry, stern expression, and the second face is actually this kind of happy, almost goofy like grin, which is pretty nice. He's got nice back printing while we're on here. Just a little bit of detail, but it does reflect what he was wearing in the show. He's got the front torso print as well, which is pretty nice. He's got Finn's like afro hair mold, which is pretty good. It's a good use of that since it does reflect him pretty well. Unfortunately, you can't really see because I'm blocking, but unfortunately, there is no leg printing on this guy. And I dropped him too. But yeah, no leg printing on this guy. Like, what? I mean, he was kind of a he was a secondary character, but he did show up a lot, so would have been nice to just have a little bit of detail on the pants there. Oh well, overall, I think it's a pretty decent figure. As you can see, it came with two pistols as his accessories. I don't remember if he wielded two pistols in the show, or if he just had the one, but still pretty nice to have two. Next up, we have IG-11. Nothing new about him. He's got the standard kind of battle droid body pieces right here, the same arms, same battle droid legs, except it's just in gray rather than the standard battle droid tan. He's got the gray clip on his back here that really just is attached on from a stud. Oh shoot, I broke his... Yeah, it's just attached on from a stud. Let's pop his head back on right there. He's got the printed cylinder piece on the top of his head for his face print, which is pretty cool. I mean, we've had that piece before, so nothing new just for him. And then yeah, in terms of accessories, came with just the standard blaster that we've been getting basically all these years for LEGO Star Wars, nothing new there, as well as the rifle that I hadn't taken off from his back here, and it just kind of clips on his back. There we go. And yeah, that's it for IG-11. The fourth figure we got is this Scout Trooper from Episode 8. He's got the updated Scout Trooper torso print, leg print, and helmet, which, you know, came in like a couple years ago already, but to me it's still pretty new. If you take off the helmet, whoa, it's not Angry Clone anymore. Also no second face, but doesn't really need it because he's got a helmet on all the time. With that said, this face is actually not new. Like, they didn't make this just to phase out the Angry Clone face. They actually had this face way back in 2013, I believe, when they were in the Sith Trooper battle packs. Those Sith Troopers actually had this face and another variant, which was a little bit more angry. I'll post some pictures up here now, so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, they came in the Old Republic sets way back in like 2012 or 2013. I still think it's a great improvement reusing those rather than using the Angry Clone face for sure. pop that helmet back on. And then yeah, in terms of accessories, he's just got this little pistol accessory that Greef Karga has. There is some back printing as well on both the helmet and the back. And then yeah, here's the front view again. Some nice leg printing in the front here. And last, but certainly not least, we have Baby Yoda, or the child. He's using the classic Lego baby body mold, which is just really tiny and is one stud. He's got the smaller baby head as well, which is actually removable. Let me just focus in. Yeah, smaller baby head, you can actually just kind of take this off. It's a lot smaller than the standard Lego head, so you can pop that back on. The head is actually a soft rubber rather than a hard plastic. Unfortunately, the arms, these are just completely molded in place. They don't move at all. And the legs, obviously, you can kind of tell already, but there's no real break there that indicates there's any joints. So the legs don't move either, which is kind of a shame. And I honestly think that in terms of accessories, maybe having a small, like, brick-built carriage, the one that he's always in, or a baby cradle, would have been just a really cool little extra thing to have that they can store in the storage area that's, like, so empty anyways in the ship. It's just a bit of a shame there. But otherwise, it's really cool that we finally got Baby Yoda in Lego form. So, my conclusions. Did I like it? Was it worth the price? I love it. Despite all the knocks that I had against it, it's an amazing build at the end of the day that's sturdy, swooshable, and came with some pretty good figs. I am biased though, since I am a huge Star Wars fan, as well as a fan of the Mandalorian show, so you know, take that into consideration. The playability of this set is great, but again, I think it would have been better if we had the ladder that goes down from the cockpit into the storage area, the washroom back tube area on the left of the ship, as well as like a simple build that would represent the carbonite machine that he could put his bounties into. Just saying. Is it worth $160 Canadian? I don't think it is. I think it'd be worth it if it was like $30 cheaper. So around the US price point of like $130, give or take $5-10 bucks. And then for the US price to be around like $100-ish. But yeah, what do you guys think? Have you bought the Razor Crest? Do you like it? Let me know in the comments. Well, that's it for this video, guys. Remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.